Hey everyone, the classic Cataclysm pre-patch has been out for about a week now, and it's been quite the roller coaster with all the bugs and hotfixes so far. Blizzard released a roadmap for Classic a few months ago where we saw how fast they will be releasing content for Cataclysm, and about a month ago they also dropped a post on Twitter giving us more detailed dates for when each content phase will be dropping. With all of this, one thing is very clear: Blizzard is intending to speedrun this expansion as quickly as they can. But the question on players' minds is why? And what should we be expecting after Cataclysm has reached its conclusion? Will we be going to Mist of Pandaria, or will we see something different perhaps? That's what I'm gonna try to answer today in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, as I said in the intro, the pre-patch for Cataclysm has been out for about a week now as of the time of posting this video. And as far as pre-patches go, this one has been very bumpy so far. We're talking missing spells for some classes, battlegrounds giving ludicrous amounts of XP, not being able to leave a group after the end of a dungeon, guild chats not working, logging out removing talent points and abilities, mages doing ridiculous amounts of damage, and I'm only scratching the surface here. Fun fact, there was even a bug that nobody really talked about that allowed players to buy all the heirlooms on the heirloom vendor for free, because you could just refund the heirlooms but it still went on your collection tab and did not disappear after a refund. Someone in my guild found that by complete luck and it got hotfixed a couple hours later, and there's no patch notes about it anywhere. And honestly, this isn't that surprising. The beta for Cataclysm released on March 7th and the pre-patch dropped on May 1st. That's under 8 weeks of testing, which is about the same as the previous betas we had for Classic so far, but this one is very much different. Cataclysm changed a lot of things about the game, from new systems like transmog or reforging to literally changing the whole world. I feel like the beta for Cata definitely needed more time in the oven compared to TBC or Wrath. To their credit though, Blizzard has been dropping hotfix after hotfix, and as of today, all the major bugs are fixed. There's still some small weird things happening here and there, but yeah, Blizzard has been very active with fixing bugs last week. And I don't know about you guys, but the beta felt very much neglected by both Blizzard and the players this time. Everyone was busy enjoying the phase 2 of Season of Discovery while the beta was still live, and as a result, it felt like Blizzard was also putting all their resources into that rather than pushing more updates and fixes to the Cataclysm beta. Now, why did they choose to do both at the same time instead of focusing on one thing and really ironing that out nicely? We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about this roadmap first. So about 5 months ago, Blizzard released this. This is a roadmap for Classic Wrath, Season of Discovery, as well as Cataclysm. As soon as this thing dropped, one thing was pretty clear to me. Blizzard wants to release and then conclude this expansion with as little time as possible between the two. And then, just a month ago on April 9th, they posted this tweet, and my assumption was confirmed. From the moment this expansion launches on May 20th till the day we get to put an end to Deathwing, there's only going to be 8 months between the two. That's, I think, the fastest we've ever been through an expansion before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but even seasonal servers in Classic Vanilla don't go that fast. Now, the question is why? Why are we rushing this expansion out so fast, knowing full well that they won't have the resources to keep up with all the bugs and exploits along the way? Well, I think there's two main reasons. The first and most obvious one is that back in the day, Cataclysm experienced a huge content drought throughout all of its existence. There just wasn't a lot of content in Cata. There were 3 raid tiers that released, with tier 11, 12, and 13. Tier 11 and 12 were okay, but tier 13 with Dragon Soul was just very poorly received and lasted way too long before MOP released. So imagine you take the exact same format and drop that 13 years later on today's player base, which min-maxes everything to a T, has wowhead guides and YouTube videos available for almost everything, and clears the hardest content in the matter of hours. That's just not gonna end up being a very well received expansion. The average player is just way better nowadays than they were 13 years ago. And yes, I know most players are casual, but that's why we have 4 raiding difficulties. Blizzard knows the Cataclysm content was just not very exciting back in the day, and that's the first reason why I think they're going through it this fast this time around. around. The second and most important reason, I think, is because they don't think there will be that many players interested in playing Cataclysm in the first place. Again, just like back in the day, I think we'll see a big downwards trend when it comes to how many players will be playing Cata throughout the patches. Surely, a lot of players will log in and give it a try for a few weeks, but the numbers will definitely drop the longer it goes for, just like with any expansion really after the release. But with Cata, it's pretty much a guarantee that the downward slope will be quite steep. Side note, by the way, this is the server list we had when Classic first released in 2019, and this is where it's at now. You may think this is because Classic lost a lot of players, but according to ironforge.pro, that's not really the case. Well, at least if we ignore the End of Wrath. The only reason the server list shrank that much is because Blizzard just managed to consolidate the servers super efficiently, and server technology is just now much more solid than it was 5 years ago. Hopefully, we'll get to the ultimate goal, which is getting a single server per game mode and per region. That would be awesome. But yeah, with Cata pretty much guaranteed to lose players quite fast, I think Blizzard wants to reduce the amount of time it takes to go through the expansion, and that will both reduce the content drought the players will experience, and also keep them engaged and coming back more often to see what's next. That's honestly the smartest thing they could do in this situation, and I really hope for the game that it works, and that Cata Classic isn't gonna be remembered as a huge failed experiment 2 years from now. There's also, I think, a big effort to coordinate the Classic content so that it doesn't clash with the retail content. Even though we don't really see that in our own Classic bubble, but if you scroll up just a bit in that roadmap blue post, you'll see the retail roadmap. And if you put the two side by side, you'll clearly see that there's a clear effort to not have both versions of the game clash with each other. Everything drops one after the other, so to have a constant stream of content available in both versions of the game. When the War Within releases, for example, in late summer, the only thing coming after that is the mini patch of Rise of the Zandalari, which is not really considered a raid tier, but rather a small dungeon to keep players busy before Firelands. So people will get plenty of time to enjoy the release of the War Within and then come back to Cata if they want to. Now, that all sounds really nice and all, but the big concern though is that this ends up being way too rushed and completely bugged in the process. I mean, we saw how the pre-patch went so far, and if that's any indication for what's coming, this doesn't bode well for the future. However, I don't think this will be a huge deal going forward. There's QA positions opening left and right on the careers website of Blizzard, and their employees are even advertising those positions like crazy. So I'm quite optimistic that we'll have a smoother road to Deathwing going forward. Now, with all that said, the big question is, Cata goes through all of its content. That takes about 9 to 10 months. Then what? Well, that's where we fall into speculation realm. Before Cata was confirmed at BlizzCon, I was a bit skeptical, but now I'm almost certain that we will be getting Mist of Pandaria next, and then WoD, and then Legion, and who knows how far this train goes. If Cata is any indication, WoD will probably last a few months the way things are going, but if their strategy works for Cata and it ends up being a success, there's no reason for them to stop at Cata. On the classic vanilla side of things, of course, we have Season of Discovery still going on. Phase 3 has been quite the weird phase so far. Level 50 is just a weird bracket to sit at. Most classes feel like they are quite strong, but so close to unlocking their full potential. Sunken Temple has been quite the roller coaster, starting very overtuned and then getting nerfed 10 times over before it's finally clearable now by most players. And I don't know about you, but Phase 3 as a whole just felt like Phase 2.5 honestly. We're still doing the STV event, we're still running Nomoragan, and we're still doing the Ashenvale event and BFD on our alts and newly leveled characters. We'll be getting Phase 4 very soon, and of course, although Blizzard did talk about that a little bit, there's still a lot we don't know about for Phase 4. How many raids will be releasing? How will they be releasing? What about the Scarlet Monastery raid or the Karazhan raid that were teased at BlizzCon? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm quite excited for Phase 4 and Phase 5 of Season of Discovery. Beyond that, of course, Season of Discovery feels like a huge beta test for potentially a fully fledged Classic Plus version of the game, with potentially permanent servers and possibly new content spanning multiple years to come. None of that is confirmed, of course, but it seems like that's something the community really wants. I did say I'm almost certain MoP is coming after Cata, but could Blizzard be pushing Cataclysm and then potentially releasing MoP and then resetting everything back to Classic Plus? Perhaps. As for TBC and Rat, it feels very odd that Blizzard is so adamant on not releasing era servers for those versions of the game. I posted a video about a week ago talking about why me and a lot of players on the forums and Reddit are asking for TBC era servers, and why that could be a good idea to bring it back. Check it out if you want to. But Blizzard not releasing era servers for those expansions feels like perhaps they want to use those expansions as building blocks for Classic Plus. Perhaps they're beta testing things on SOD to then release Classic Plus from vanilla and go forward with all they learned through both TBC and Wrath. That seems like it could be interesting to see. But yeah, that's about it. Cata feels so rushed because Blizzard knows how much content drought there was back in the day, and also because they know Cata is just not that popular of an expansion, so they will see a big drop off quite fast, and they are trying to combat that by releasing content faster. Whatever the future holds for Classic, it's looking pretty exciting based on how much content is being dropped at us left and right. I'm very excited to see what's coming and how they will be steering this ship going forward. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe, as there will be a lot more content like this in the future. My name is Numidia, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye for now.